set whenever we.
Yeah. All right, and it looks like we're almost straight up 9 o'clock. I'll go ahead and call to order the Transportation Commission meeting. It's Thursday, November 2025. And first of all, please, Mr. Stockinger, call the order or call the roll.
Commissioner Barrett.
Present.
Commissioner Marcano. Present. Commissioner Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Gutierrez. Here. Commissioner Ritter. I haven't seen him on yet. We'll keep track on Zoom.
Okay.
Commissioner McLaughlin.
Present.
Commissioner Parsons.
Here.
Commissioner Hart. Here. Commissioner Masters. Here. Vice Chair Bowman.
Here.
And Chair Cook.
Here. Okay, thank you. First, we have public comments, and I want to make a couple of notes because we have a fair amount today. And first of all, we really appreciate the engagement. I mean, it's not often that we see a number of people. So we're taking up the 10-year plan. We're not deciding it today. We're still working through that, but it's great to see the engagement that we're getting both online, via emails, and in person here. So wanted to say that. You're probably familiar with it, but we don't respond on the moment. But I know I speak for everybody that we do listen and consider very carefully the comments that you make as we go forward. So wanted to stress that. We're going to call on the people in person first and then move to those who are joining us virtually. We'll call on people in the order that they signed up for public comment. We'll limit the comments to 3 minutes. And given that we have, I think it's something like 30 total commenters, we're going to be pretty strict about that. So forgive me. And then I wanted to note too that we've had a number of online written comments submitted, something like 80. And the staff, Herman, they were kind enough to compile them and print them out for us ahead of time so that we've had the time to go through those as well. So, okay, with that, I'll go ahead and get started. First, I have listed Commissioner Julie Mullica from Adams County.
All right, am I on?
Yes.
Great. Chair, commissioners, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Julie Duran Mullica. I'm an Adams County Commissioner, Vice Chair of the Board, and I was born and raised in Adams County. I want to begin with a personal story that reflects the reality of thousands of Adams County residents. Years ago, I worked as an infection preventionist at UC Health. It was one of the best opportunities of my career. I had the privilege of working with an excellent team and one of the best infectious disease physicians in the state of Colorado. It allowed me to grow professionally and provide for my family. But that came at a cost. To access this opportunity, I depended on I-270 every single day. And instead of spending precious time with my 2-year-old and infant son, I spent 2 hours a day idling in traffic. I lasted 13 months. Not because I didn't love the work, but because the commute on 270 made it unsustainable for my family. That was a decade ago. And this highway has not improved since then and has actually gotten worse. My story is not unique. In every common Adams County story, when our roads fail, they limit opportunities for working families. They limit access to jobs, to childcare, to healthcare, and they limit economic mobility for the entire region. I want to address the large number of comments we're receiving today from individuals who oppose these projects. Many of them identify as transit enthusiasts like myself. I believe deeply in multimodal transportation, and I have fought for it throughout my career. But here's the reality. In most of Adams County, transit access barely exists. For many of our residents, transit is not an option. And the industrial corridors in South Adams County, which feed, supply, and economically support the communities, many of which these commenters are coming from, rely on safe, reliable roadways to function. So I asked the commission to be thoughtful about these comments and where they're coming from. Do these individuals rely on 270 to get to work, to get to medical appointments, to visit family, to access opportunity? If the answer is no, then please prioritize voices of people who do live here, who do rely on these corridors, and who will live with the consequences of delay. We don't need people looking down on Adams County from afar. We need partners who understand our reality and who stand with us. And I'll wrap it up. Thank you so much for having us here today. And please, let's proceed in partnership.
Okay, great. And I just had a note that Commissioner Ritter is on the line as well and attending. All right, thank you very much. And next we have Steve O'Dorisio, Adams County Commissioner.
Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to speak. And rather than repeating any of the words from my esteemed colleague, Julie Duran-Mullica, what I will say is that Adams County is the center of the logistics industry and the logistics operations of Colorado. It's an important hub, not just to connect people, but also to connect goods to the entire state. We also happen to have a lot of the folks in Adams County and in these neighborhoods along the I-270 corridor who drive white trucks every day, swinging hammers, turning wrenches, going out and digging ditches and delivering goods to everyone throughout the metro area and throughout the state of Colorado. It is important to try to give these folks the ability to get to and from work and to deliver your goods to you across the state of Colorado, to be able to come and help you with your plumbing, electrical, and other issues. We're proud of our blue collar roots. We're proud of the folks that we have working hard in Adams County. But that also means that we also need to help make sure that they get to work and get home in time and not sit wasting their day away at the end of the day and the beginning of the day, wasting time away from their families. You heard that story from Julie Duran-Mullica, but that happens all day, every day. And you could sit in the parking lot on I-270 and realize this is not equitable. We need to fix it and we need to do it, but we also need to do it right. And that means that we need to do it not our grandfather's way of doing a highway, of just adding a lane, but also making sure that we're adding the capacity to address the needs while also making it an interactive corridor. People could get to it, from it, over it, under it, around it, but it's also fixing the whole corridor. And I want to thank the folks at CDOT who have slowed down multiple times to listen to the community, to listen to folks even outside of the community, some of which have some good ideas, and come together and say, we can have a win-win. We can improve the environmental condition. We can improve access to the neighborhoods. We can improve the overall quality of life for those people using the corridor as well as those living near it. I believe we can have that win-win. We're working toward it. We have slowed this process down numerous times. I beg you, please don't put us in Adams County through the same scenario that we've seen at CDOT, RTD, and a lot of other places, that when it's finally time for us to get to the front of the line of these projects and programs that we've worked so hard to build and improve, that we see that the line is rearranged by the powers that be in the political spheres. Let's get this done. Let's get it done together. And I want to thank you for helping us make sure that this is a reality, because it's not an Adams County project. It's a state project, because everyone in the state relies on I-270. And the same goes with I-25 and the North Line. We appreciate all the work that your folks are doing to help us make sure that these projects finally get completed. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Tony Milo, Executive Director of the Colorado Contractors Association.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Commissioners. I'm Tony Milo, President of the Colorado Contractors Association, and it's probably no surprise that the contractors support moving forward with the I-270 project. But what I'm here to really point out to all of you that for every $1 million spent on road construction, it creates 700 jobs. So if you do the math, the amount that will be spent to construct and improve I-70, it's going to create a lot of jobs for a lot of Coloradans. Secondly, I'd like to point out 100,000 vehicles per day rely on I-270 to get to work every day, to get their kids to school, to get to soccer practice, for trucks to deliver goods and services. All 100,000 of those motorists, I'd like to, if you could imagine all 100,000 of those here today, would any of them say, no, it's not a good idea to expand and improve I-270? So just a reminder, not only do the contractors support moving forward in every way possible, we think that the motorists and the voters do as well. And we appreciate your support and the time you take to listen to us today.
Okay, next, Greg Fulton, Executive Director of the Colorado Motor Carriers Association.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Commissioners. I also wanted to just express appreciation to the Commissioners' comments as well as Mr. Mila's, which we share. Let me note that when we start talking about the community and all this in terms of community input, let me note that we have over 300 companies. Most of our people work and live in Adams County. So we are a big part of the community in that. It's the most critical area in the entire state for trucking. It is a home for this, and they are a major part, an integral part of the community. So when we talk about this, we have thousands of employees that are working there, and it affects them every day. Let me note actually what's happening really out there. I think it's lost in terms of a sense of what the congestion is. A little over 10 years ago, we do about a thing in terms on a national basis of the 100 top truck bottlenecks in the country. We didn't have 270 on there. We now have 2 locations related to 270 on there. One's 49th, which is the site on 270, and then we have the I-70-270 interchange. So really what we have is this compounding issue, not only just 270, but it's affecting everything else as we go. So what's happening is each year we're seeing a loss of about 1% in terms of speeds. Now, how does that affect actually the environment? How does it affect the economy? We say about each year it's about $7,800 more per truck actually because of congestion. I can say in this area, in the Denver area, we have a higher cost per truck because we have 4 out of the top 100 truck bottlenecks are in the Denver metro area today in the country. So when we're looking at that, to deliver the same amount of freight as we did, 15 years ago, in many cases, it's taking 2 trucks. That means actually additional cost. It means actually additional drivers. More importantly, though, it means actually additional emissions out there. We want to do our part, actually. We're committed to actually reducing emissions in our corridors. We would ask that we've actually been part of this process from the beginning. We recognize the importance and for the community in having some sort of a multimodal solution there, but this is essential. This is a project that probably should have been done 10, 20 years ago. I'm not criticizing CDOT because these processes take a lot of time. I would encourage you to not delay this any further, and we would ask actually for your support to move forward as soon as possible. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you. Next, we have Greer Bailey, Executive Director of the Colorado-Wyoming Petroleum Marketers Association. Go ahead, please, sir.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. My name is Greer Bailey. I serve as Executive Director of Colorado-Wyoming Fuel Marketers. So fuel distributor station owners below the terminal racks, not the refinery or the pipeline companies, but the guys who do 600,000 fully loaded transport trucks of fuel every year, doing the 2.2 billion gallons of fuel that Colorado uses and pays all the excise tax that you guys use to build the roads. I also want to support that Adams County doesn't need to wait any longer. Something specific to our industry that kind of got lost a little bit is that the Magellan Pipeline Terminal on Smith Road and Chambers is responsible for 20% of all the fuel distributed in the state. When the Brighton Bridge and the viaduct degraded to the point where we couldn't safely use that anymore, all of those trucks going eastbound were diverted up 270. And it's been that way for years and years and years. Those trucks are still diverted up, unduly burdening that part of that county and that community. And they shoulder that burden for the entire rest of the state. We think that they shouldn't have to wait anymore. I really appreciate all the work that Secretary Stockinger, CDOT, and this commission has done relative to the Fuels Impact Enterprise, which was legislation that we sponsored in large part because of the partnership and the dire needs in Adams County. Eventually, without improvements on 270, you will start losing bridge integrity, you will start increasing congestion, and you will start making it so that the trucks that have to use Adams County don't use the highways, but they go through the communities. This is an extremely important project for my industry, for the integrity of fuel supply, and it's an extremely important part for the Adams County folks who have really borne the burden on commerce for this entire state for far too long. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Jim Coleman, President of DG Coleman Trucking. Virtual, okay. Okay, and then we had also, as a possibility, Norma and Victor Frank. I'm not sure if they're here in person. Yes, please come forward.
Madam Chair, Commissioners. My name is Norma Frank, and I live at 7401 Race Street, and I've lived in Welby my entire life. My home sits on the land my grandparents settled on when they arrived more than 100 years ago from Italy. Today, that same land is still home to my 99-year-old mother, my two children, their children, and my two brothers and their families. So as you can see, Welby just isn't where we live. It's part of who we are. We were here when I-270 was first built in the 1960s, and we've watched its use grow year after year. And just as we heard this morning several times, it has reached a point where it simply no longer functions. Not a single day goes by without gridlock. And we know from research that these idling cars, 100,000, I heard this morning, significantly worsens air quality, contributing to smog and respiratory risks and creating harmful conditions for the neighbors, the neighborhoods. So today we face the challenge of addressing these longstanding problems of the highway. Our community has been carrying the burden of I-25, US 36, I-76, and I-270. That's bingo when you put all that together. We see daily the 100% necessity to totally fix broken I-270, but we challenge CDOT to be creative, perhaps more creative than they've ever been in addressing the noise, air quality, and overall appearance of the corridor as it passes through Welby. In short, we're counting on a win-win. Mr. Odoriso stole my win-win. We're asking for solutions that will improve the mobility of I-270 while recognizing and addressing the protection and well-being of the people who live here. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to serve on the I-270 Stakeholder Committee over the past year and a half. CDOT's provided extensive information, data, and analysis, from evaluating alternatives to discussing potential community enhancements. I believe we are working diligently in the right direction, and we are, if we continue to focus, can come out with a very strong outcome. I want to thank you for listening, and I want to thank you for continuing to support our community as we strive to achieve the best outcome for everyone who calls Welby home. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Okay, now going to, oh, yes, sir. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I get 3 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Madam Commissioner, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Good morning. My name is Victor Frank. I also reside in Welby, and I share all of Norma's concerns, but I would like to add another concern from the business prospect. I'm an owner of a business that serves customers across the Front Range. Our business operates a fleet of service vehicles moving across Denver Metro every day, completing work orders, meeting deadlines, and keep our clients' facility running safely and efficiently. Because of that, we experience firsthand the daily challenges caused by the gridlock on I-270. For our crews, I-270 is a critical corridor that determines whether our teams arrive on time, whether we complete a project the same day or whether we maintain the level of reliability our customers count on. Right now, the corridor is failing. Every morning and every afternoon, slow traffic to a crawl, a short, predictable trip can easily turn into a 45-minute delay. Those delays compound quickly. Our hours become lost productivity, lost revenue. And for a business like ours, that is also means fewer jobs completed each day, slower response time, and higher operational costs. But the impact goes beyond just business. The current level of congestion affects the health and well-being of our employees. Idling vehicles and stop and go traffic continues to emission increases fuel waste and adds wear and tear on our equipment. It also affects communities surrounding the corridor who live with the impact of prolonged congestion and idling. For these reasons, I support the I-270 expansion, modernization. Improving this corridor is not simply a transportation project, it's an economic and environmental necessity. We appreciate the work CDOT and the stakeholder teams have done to get us to this point. As a business owner and a resident, I urge continued forward momentum to the commitment to implement a strong solution that addresses our concerns that we have highlighted this morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, now we'll go to virtual comment. And first person I've listed is Tracy Sakaguchi.
Yes, good morning.
morning.
My name is Chair and Commissioners. My name is Tracy Sakaguchi. I'm the Director of State and Local Programs for the Colorado Motor Carriers Association. And I'm here today in support of the I-270 projects. Two of my members and I have been stakeholders on the I-270 project representing the trucking industry. On March 5th, 2024, the first stakeholder workshop was held with 16 more workshops to follow and several public meetings. The workshops included a wide range of community groups, private residents, RTD, bike, pedestrians, first responders, schools, city officials, environmental experts, and businesses within the community. And if there were groups or individuals who were not involved and were not represented, it was important that they became included. It was clear that this was a commitment and important to attend. The meetings were held within the community on a regular schedule. Meeting notices were sent in a timely manner and topics for discussion were outlined at the beginning of the process and adjusted as the group saw fit. Meeting materials were always provided with agendas, topics, discussions, and data, and stakeholders had good discussion and participation when covering safety, traffic, locations for improvement, freight, pedestrians, bicycles, transit, community, environmental impacts, and alternatives. The process has been long and not always agreeing on everything has made some months tougher than others, but the stakeholders have done an excellent job. And I look forward to reviewing the draft EIS and the opportunity to provide comment. I will be following the project very closely as it is important to the freight community that we move forward to ensure a safer highway for all. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Jim Coleman, who is president of DG Coleman Trucking. We thought he would be here, but he's online, I believe. Nope.
Commissioner, he'll be yesterday.
Okay, he may be ill. Thank you. I hope he gets better. Next is Trish Stiles, the town manager from Bennett.
If it would be okay, I would like to let the mayor go before I would, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Good morning, Chair and members of the Commission. I'm Mayor Whitney Oakley from Town of Bennett. Thank you so much for the opportunity to get to speak with you today. I wanted to begin by thanking the Colorado Department of Transportation for your partnership with our community. Together, we have made progress on our Tip Trail project in Bennett. This has truly been a collaborative effort between CDOT and the town, and one that shows what is possible when we work together with a shared goal of safety. Pedestrian safety is one of our top priorities in the town of Bennett, especially for the children and families who use these crossings every day to get to their school and activities. These are our routes kids walk and bike along, and improving these crossings through the Tip Trail project is more than a transportation improvement. It is an investment in their safety and in their future. The project is a testament to our shared commitment to keep people safe in the town, whether they are walking, biking, or driving. And we appreciate CDOT's willingness to let the town of Bennett take lead on this project while still working side by side with us. That balance, local leadership, and combined with state expertise and support has made this project stronger and more responsive to the needs of our community and our residents. We are very excited to be celebrating the completion of the TIP Trail soon, and we would like to extend a formal invitation to all of you on the commission. Please join us for a ribbon cutting of the trail on December 9th at noon here in the town of Bennett. It would mean a lot to our community to have CDOT leadership there as we celebrate all that we have accomplished together. Thank you so much for your continued partnership and for all that you have done to keep Bennett safe. And now I will let the town manager speak to you all.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, good morning. My name is Trish Stiles. I'm the town manager here for the town of Bennett. I wanted to echo the mayor's appreciation for CDOT's collaboration on our TIP Trail Phase 1 and your ongoing support in the town of Bennett and our community. I especially wanted to thank CDOT staff here today who have been working closely with us on this project and on other needs in Bennett. And this includes Angie Drum, Steve Leffler, and Jocelyn Higgescheid. Their responsiveness, professionalism, and willingness to problem solve with us has really made a difference on the ground with this project. I know that your staff is very, just like ours, incredibly busy and are balancing priorities across our entire region and in the state. I wanted to say that we truly appreciate the time that they've taken to meet with us recently and to follow up on issues and questions within the town. In addition to the TIP Trail, your staff has been working with us on regular maintenance requests, and we understand that these requests are a part of a larger statewide system, but we're committed to doing our part to help you help us by submitting our requests clearly, providing good information, and coordinating priorities. We look forward to working with CDOT to improve roads and transportation in Bennett. Our goal is the same as yours. It is safe, reliable, and well-maintained infrastructure for the people we serve. We see the TIP Trail as a model of what partnership can actually look like, and we're excited to hopefully build on this success. Thank you again to your staff and their amazing hard work and for your ongoing partnership with the town of Bennett. We hope to see you on December 9th at noon for that TIP Trail ribbon cutting. Thank you.
Thank you both. Next, we have Renee Lararte. She's the Climate and Transportation Campaign Manager for Conservation Colorado. I want to acknowledge, too, that we received written comments from that organization, and we appreciate that.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners. My name is Renee Lararte. As you said, Climate and Transportation Campaign Manager at Conservation Colorado. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today about CDOT's 10-year plan and I-270 DEIS. Colorado urgently needs transportation investments that align with our climate goals that move people, not just cars, safely and affordably. I'm concerned that CDOT continues to prioritize costly high-emission highway expansions on I-25 North and I-270 instead of investing in the sustainable multimodal options communities are asking for. On the I-25 North Corridor, CDOT has a real opportunity to deliver meaningful progress in building on transit success. Busting expansion shows that interregional transit works. Service doubled between 2022 and 2024. Ridership hit record highs with a 21% increase in 2025, and the program reduced congestion and emissions. The Winter Park Express also grew dramatically this year with a ridership up 153%, which is quite notable, demonstrating strong public demand for climate-friendly transportation. These successes, we feel, should be expanded, not rolled back. Yet Bustang's pilot funding is set to expire this year. CDOT should secure permanent funding and grow the service rather than widening highways, which will only reduce more driving and air pollution. On I-270, we urge you to extend the public comment period from 60 days to 120 days to really allow for meaningful community engagement beyond the holiday season when people will not have time to give ample public engagement. We also want you to reconsider the outdated proposal to widen the corridor and instead adopt the design assistance team's recommendations. Toll the full corridor with exceptions for freight, local residents, business owners on the corridor, and reinvest in regional and local transit. The project should deliver bike, pedestrian, microtransit options, improve green space and buffers, add air quality monitors, and enhance crossings, lighting, and safe routes to schools. Communities in Commerce City, North Denver already experience disproportionate traffic pollution and air quality pollution. And adding lanes are just going to worsen environmental and health burdens and move Colorado further from our greenhouse gas reduction goals. Public opinion is clear. A majority of Coloradans really want transit over highways. CDOT's own respondents to a survey show that as well. Highway widenings are just short-term. Traffic rises and comes back. And in contrast, rail, BRT, transit, micromobility, fix it first, reduce climate pollution, and help save Coloradans money. Yet, in the current project pipeline for regions 3 and 5, these multimodal solutions only make up a measly 6% of the proposed budget. If the budget reflects priorities, then CDOT's 10-year plan should reflect what Colorado really wants, give people real transportation choices. Please,
we're going to have to.
Thank you. Please just direct the resources to busting. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Ryan Schuchard, who is a Boulder City Council member. Welcome.
Good morning, Chair and members of the Transportation Commission and CDOT staff. My name is Ryan Schuchard. I'm a City Council member for Boulder, speaking on behalf of the Colorado State Highway 7 Coalition, which spans CDOT regions 1 and 4. The coalition is a collaborative partnership among Adams County, Boulder County, the City and County of Broomfield, and the cities and towns of Boulder, Brighton, Erie, Lafayette, Thornton, along with Adams County Regional Economic Partnership, Northwest Chamber Alliance, University of Colorado Boulder, and our 3 transportation management organizations, all working alongside CDOT and RTD. State Highway 7 is critically important to the whole Front Range because it's one of the few east-west highways connecting I-25 to North Denver metro communities. And like many of our state's highways, it was originally built as a 2-lane rural highway. But over time, rapid development has overwhelmed the road, creating severe safety, congestion, and reliability challenges for our traveling public. The challenges are expected to deepen. It's imperative that we design this corridor now to prioritize transit access, walking, and bicycling so everyone who lives and works along State Highway 7 can travel safely and efficiently. Projections for 2040 indicate that we'll see an influx of 56,000 new residents, 38,000 new jobs near State Highway 7. Managing that expected growth and its impacts on our transportation infrastructure will require strong partnerships, including the continued partnership of our coalition with CDOT to ensure we're maintaining our roadway assets, advancing safety, and providing multimodal travel options. The State Highway 7 Coalition is actively seeking additional funding sources from the city, county, regional, state, and federal entities. Since 2014, our members have worked collaboratively with CDOT to create a safe, multimodal corridor by investing local funds. And recently, we secured approximately $20 million for priority initiatives along the corridor and to kickstart transit service with the upcoming launch of the Brighton to Boulder Flyer route, operating every 30 minutes starting in 2026. But given the anticipated growth along the State Highway 7 corridor, our work has only just begun, and we are eager to continue our partnership with CDOT to drive further progress. At this time, our coalition is strongly urging that you prioritize 2 projects for inclusion in the CDOT statewide transportation plan's 10-year project pipeline: the State Highway 7 multimodal corridor and the I-25 and State Highway 7 multimodal hub interchange. These are strategic projects from CDOT's Highway 7 corridor development plan and are important initiatives to advance the Commission's statewide transportation planning framework. The State Highway 7 multimodal corridor project between Brighton and Boulder is our coalition's top funding priority. Funds are needed to advance strategic projects from design to construction and will be used for improvements to the roadway west of Foothills Parkway, as well as at key intersections of State Highway 7 with US 287, Lowell Boulevard, Sheridan Parkway, Holly Street, and Quebec Street.
Councilmember Schuchard, I'm so sorry.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. Alexandra Schlentz, who is Senior Attorney for the Rocky Mountain Office of Earth Justice. And also, we received written comments from your organization, or actually on behalf of Green Latinos, and I just wanted to acknowledge that and thank you.
Yes, thank you. And good morning, commissioners. My name is Alexandra Schlentz. I'm a senior attorney with Earth Justice. We are a nonprofit environmental law organization. Today, I want to discuss CDOT's plan to widen I-270, which runs through some of our nation's most polluted zip codes. Widening the corridor would increase pollution without reducing congestion. That last piece is important. Everyone here agrees that congestion on 270 is a problem, but decades of science and experience have shown that adding lanes to urban corridors like this one only increases the number of vehicles using the highway, taking us right back to the same congestion without fixing the problem that you've heard so much about today. Fortunately, there's a better approach that would manage congestion without wasting hundreds of millions of dollars on new lanes. Green Latinos submitted these comments to CDOT detailing that option, which I shared with this commission. The Healthy Communities No Widening alternative would implement differential tolling on the existing lanes on the corridor. This approach would manage congestion by prioritizing freight traffic as well as transit, which would also help keep trucks off of local roads. This alternative would also ensure that local residents can use the corridor free of charge. In addition, it includes critical safety measures and bridge repairs, and the alternative also calls for increased regional transit routes to serve people moving through the corridor, along with local transit, bike, and pedestrian improvements to serve local residents. Toll revenues from the corridor would go back into the same neighborhoods that have been burdened with multiple interstates, including I-25 and I-70, bisecting and polluting their communities. CDOT is imminently planning to issue its draft environmental impact statement, or DEIS. That statement would not analyze the Healthy Communities No Widening alternative, and it would be open for public comment for only 60 days, running through Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, and New Year's. We firmly disagree that a 60-day comment period during one of the busiest times of year enables real good faith engagement with the affected community. We are therefore requesting that CDOT revise the DEIS to include an analysis of the Healthy Communities No Widening alternative and publish that document after the holidays. At a bare minimum, CDOT should extend the comment period to 120 days to allow for meaningful public engagement. The 10-year plan should similarly prioritize sustainable transportation options instead of funding expensive, polluting, and harmful highway expansion projects like I-270 and I-25 North. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Scott James, Weld County Commissioner.
Thank you, Transportation Commissioners. Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today, especially remotely. It's the closest thing I have to Star Trek technology. I can be two places at once. Of course, if we had transported technology, we wouldn't be here today having coffee in Prague. My name is Scott James. I do serve as a Weld County Commissioner and as a longtime chair of the North I-25 Coalition, representing local governments, businesses, and communities from Thornton to the Wyoming line. I'm here today with one clear ask. Please finish north of the I-25, finish that project by building the managed lane in segments 4 and segment 3B. Close that gap, add real capacity, and let CTIO turn that lane into a new toll revenue to invest in the corridor and across all of Colorado. North I-25 is the economic backbone of rapidly growing northern Colorado. Weld County alone has grown by nearly 40% since 2010. The corridor already carries close to 100,000 vehicles a day, thousands of trucks moving freight, with traffic projected to increase by nearly half again by 2050. Right now, we're pushing that growth through an incomplete corridor. Segments 5, 6, 7, and 8 are built, and thank you, or they're under construction, with managed lanes there. Segments 4 and 3B, as you know, are still missing. In recent years, segments 2 and 5 have seen thousands of crashes and nearly 200 serious injuries and fatalities. When widened and modernized there in segment 6 through segments 8, crashes dropped by over 45%, proving that added capacity and modern design do save lives on highways. You've also invested more than $90 million in 3 new multimodal hubs at Highway 119, at Berthoud, and at Centerra there in Loveland. Those hubs were built so Bustang and regional buses can offer a fast and reliable alternative to driving. That only works if there is a continuous managed lane. If Bustang is stuck in the same congested general purpose lanes through segments 4 and 3B, trips won't be reliable, commuters will lose confidence, and we'll not see the return on the investments that we've all made. That kind of that defeats the purpose. Finishing segments 4 and 3B as managed lanes improves safety, supports freight and commuters, protects our multimodal investment, and creates a durable revenue stream for CTIO. It is the most responsible way to add capacity to this corridor that it clearly needs. I please urge you to finish North I-25 at the top of your priorities and movement segments 4 and segment 3B into construction just as soon as possible. Commissioners, thank you for your service and thank you for the time today.
Thank you. Next, we have Benedict Wright, who is Education Manager for Bicycle Colorado. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. Yes, my name is Benedict, and I'm here today representing Bicycle Colorado. Bicycle Colorado is a statewide advocacy nonprofit that for over 30 years has worked to make biking, walking, and multimodal travel safe and accessible for all Coloradans. And I'm here today to give comment on CDOT's 10-year plan. In particular, I would like to express our desire to see CDOT's budget better align with its stated goals of improving safety for all road users, increasing transit options, reducing emissions, and really prioritizing fix-it-first projects. Currently, the 10-year plan falls short and displays a business-as-usual set of priorities and assumptions that presents expensive highway widenings as the preferred solution to congested traffic. I think many of us can agree that congestion is a problem on certain CDOT corridors, yet the research tells us that widening highways is an expensive and ultimately futile solution to that problem. Instead, we need to be prioritizing convenient and reliable transit, thoughtfully deployed congestion pricing, and safe and connected networks for people to bike and walk. There is a huge opportunity cost to investing our finite transportation dollars in infrastructure that neither improves safety nor will ultimately solve our transportation challenges. And this opportunity cost is especially acute when just this year, in a tight budget year at the state level, $71 million for multimodal and safe streets infrastructure was cut from the state budget. Now more than ever, there is far more demand for this kind of infrastructure than there is supply of funding. This could not be coming at a worse time, given that people are still dying by the hundreds on our roadways every year. The path to creating safer streets with fewer preventable deaths starts with how we prioritize what transportation dollars we do have. CDOT and Governor Polis have an ambitious and laudable vision for transportation in this state, a vision that gives people freedom to move safely in and around their communities without always relying on a car. Please make sure that CDOT's concrete plans align with that vision. The people of Colorado deserve it. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you. Next, we have Helen Bradshaw. Looks like we can come back to her. Susan Perkins. Okay. Nina Marty.
Thank you. Thank you to CDOT for the opportunity to comment and to the environmental and community advocates who are present here today. I am here to express my dissent of the current plans to expand the I-270 corridor. I am a resident who lives adjacent to the Globeville and Elyria Swansea communities. First, I must echo my concerns about the timing of this commentary. As you can see, we have less than 30 attendees present on the Zoom meeting, as far as I can tell, and it is disproportionately business interests that are here as opposed to residents of the communities affected. And I think this is owed to the poorly planned comment period, which falls over several holidays and just does not afford enough time for community comment. Furthermore, I must cite, in regards to the traffic and transit concerns, I have been affected personally by the traffic. However, I must echo concerns of other advocates here that according to studies by the California State University, aggregate vehicle miles traveled increased exactly with the proportion of lane mileage, and congestion relief from capacity expansion vanishes within 5 years of capacity expansion. New lanes would simply fill with more traffic, creating the same problem a couple years from now. I'd also like to quote Matt Frommer, who is a transportation analyst with the nonprofit Southwestern Energy Efficiency Project. According to him, we have prioritized cars over transit for decades and have less bus service today than we had in 2003. As a resident of this neighborhood, I look around and I see sidewalks that are poorly paved for residents who have disabilities. They can't walk or roll to where they need to be. We have poor bike lanes, minimal public transit, and therefore the impacts of this expansion does not provide any benefit to people who do not have mobility via cars. And I prefer that CDOT would consider projects that would expand those means of transportation than adding on lanes that would simply create a problem down the road. More importantly to me, we have documented how highway traffic, especially in conjunction with nearby industrial facilities such as Suncor, concentrates pollution in frontline communities near me. In a recent settlement reached over I-70, there were commitments made to health studies and air monitoring, and how those can be mitigated. According to studies by the city itself and the EPA, our air quality is an issue for North Denver neighborhoods, and we constantly measure much more nitrogen dioxide pollution than neighboring stations that monitor it. Furthermore, residents of Globeville and Elyria Swansea experience chronic conditions like heart and lung disease at higher rates in other parts of Denver. Finally, I'd like to address the issue of cost. In a time where we're experiencing significant budget pressures, I just have to urge CDOT to consider whether this is the best use of our public funds to expand a project that will not reduce congestion and will create harmful impacts on health for the North Denver community.
Thank you. Next, we have Arlette Lucero. Okay. And next would be Holly Stokes. Okay. Tasia Villarreal. Hope I said that right. Okay. Kelvin Devora. Okay. Eva Ramos. Linda Farb. Okay. Linda, we're ready to hear you.
Sorry, I'm working off of a small cell phone. Thank you for inviting me and any other commenters. I just want to quote the National League of Cities, which says constructing more lanes on a highway has been shown to have little or no impact on congestion. It only leads to more air pollution. The solution has to include bus stops. It has to include bicycle and pedestrian lanes. And if you're looking at the CMAQ grants, which would be helpful with our finances in the state of Colorado, using federal funds, they have to prioritize low-income populations and reduce air pollution. Considering that we are usually in violation of EPA regulations, I think the air pollution should be a priority. Number two, we need to replace diesel vehicles and find funds to consistently encourage freight transit onto rail. The other steps with RTD need to be considered. RTD can improve routes. I know for a fact, because I was one of the originators of the FF5 route to go out to Anschutz when I worked there. The RTD routes can include more stops. There should be ramps, as there are on US 36, so the bus can stop at a park and ride. Those do not exist on 270. Those would really help. If you talk to the people at Anschutz, ask how many people out there come across 270, and there are thousands of workers. Why are not businesses involved? I want to hear more from businesses who have workers there, not just the trucking, because I know we need the trucks. And third, why isn't there a light rail line as there would be if we lived in the south part of town? Thank you for listening, and please extend the public comment beyond the holidays. I think it needs to go through February. Thank you.
Thank you. Drew Nesmith next.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, commission members. My name is Drew Nesmith, and I am here representing myself. As a local Denver resident who supports regional connectivity, I am not supportive of the current likely alternative plan of choice being considered for the 270 improvement under debate today. This is yet another overbuilt design plan for vehicular traffic efficiency, not a holistic solution. As written, I could only be supportive of the sustainable bridge repairs with pedestrian connectivity in mind. Otherwise, transit express and tolling should be installed in the current row of the left lane in either direction. Lane width expansion for safety should only be considered when proven by local CDOT engineering direction, not automatically to the newest AASHTO recommendations. Trust your engineers' credibility to limit unneeded capacity and actually reduce crashes. This current project design will only induce demand from vehicular traffic, both commuter, residential, and from freight. Has toll revenue covered lane construction and maintenance costs and any other recent corridor improvement? Is there credible evidence to believe toll revenue will support a substantial amount of the current estimated $725 million cost? What are the needed bus frequencies needed to achieve a greenhouse gas and particulate matter reduction as modeled by CDOT? Which actions could be taken actively to reduce freight off the highway instead of infrastructure development? You can expand shoulders as needed for emergency vehicles to bypass traffic, or they can use the dedicated lane as proposed. This current design framework will further reduce the ability of the state to fulfill their greenhouse gas reduction statutes, entrenching car dependence in this corridor and for those residents for another life cycle of infrastructure planning. The Sand Creek Regional Greenway could be expanded throughout the corridor with further multimodal improvements to Havana and Quebec, but that has yet to be considered. I urge this commission to not greenlight a project based upon a 2002 DRCOG recommendation. Please consider in full the I-270 Healthy Communities No Widening Alternative submitted by Green Latinos and the Design Assistance Team report. In addition, I ask for an extended period of public comment time due to the timing of the holidays. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, and sorry for mispronouncing your name.
No, all good.
Okay, next we have Jessica Herrera. That is in-house counsel for Green Latinos.
Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Jessica Herrera. I serve as in-house counsel for Green Latinos. On November 11th, Green Latinos submitted the Healthy Communities No Widening Alternative to CDOT for incorporation into the I-270 project analysis. This community-driven alternative reflects the priorities of disproportionately impacted neighborhoods along this corridor, communities that have carried the weight of transportation-related pollution, safety risk, and cumulative health burdens for far too long. Now that the no widening alternative is formally before CDOT, we are renewing our request that CDOT delay the release of the draft environmental impact statement until early 2026 at the soonest. CDOT needs enough time to fully and meaningfully evaluate this alternative in accordance with Colorado's environmental justice mandates and NEPA's requirements for a robust alternative analysis. Releasing the DEIS before this work is complete would compromise both the quality and credibility of the process. If CDOT chooses not to delay the DEIS release, we urge you to extend the public comment period to 120 days. A typical 45 or 60-day window is not sufficient for communities that already face disproportionate environmental burdens and often lack the time and resources needed to review a document of this scale and technical complexity. This need is even more acute given the current social, economic, and legal pressures, including immigration-related concerns, and that many DI community members are navigating, which reduces their capacity to engage in a meaningful way. Additionally, the timing of major holidays further limits families' availability and bandwidth to participate in public meetings. A fair process requires time for genuine analysis, time for community understanding, and time for informed participation. Green Latinos ask CDOT to conduct a full good faith evaluation of the Healthy Communities No Widening Alternative and to provide an adequate public comment period for meaningful participation. And I'll end with this. We've heard comments earlier about prioritizing comments with people that live in this area. Residents of Commerce City are speaking and they are crying for cleaner air. Yet, the notice of intent for this project did not even list public health as a factor and places community impacts at the bottom of the list. This disconnect is exactly why their voices need to be centered, not sidelined. Thank you for your time and for your attention to the communities along this corridor.
Thank you. Next, Besta Samaripa. I hope I said that right.
Hello, good morning. I'm Besta Samaripa. People call me Besta. I'm here representing myself. Today I'm here because I have concerns about the proposal to widen I-270. I want to voice that, first of all, this is a disability issue. It's a disability issue, it's a land issue. If we were to widen I-270, that's not going to fix the root problem. We need sustainable solutions, and there are alternatives. And I think CDOT needs to look into those alternatives that have been researched by the communities, by Commerce City, by North Denver. I grew up in Adams County. My communities are still there. And the widening of I-270 is an equity problem that is disproportionately going to affect low-income communities and communities of color. Like, we already have the refinery there. This is just going to add to it, and adding an additional lane, that just means more cars. So we're going to be back in step one, and instead of trying to move forward, we're going to move backwards. And as Nina commented earlier, most of the people that are here are businesses that do not live in these communities. They are there for their own interest to make more money. And money is not going to get us money is not the solution. We will not be happy until there's nothing left. We got to take care of our Mother Earth, and we got to think about the future generations. I think about my cousins. I know the people in these communities, and they're not here. They're not here for a reason, and that is systematically we have been left out of these conversations, and that is not okay. I think that I think that the intention is in the right place, but we need to get everybody in the table, and everybody's voice needs to be taken into consideration, because this is doing the opposite of what we think it's doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Jessica Troy.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Sorry,
we
I
can.
was trying to get it unmuted here. Hi, yeah, I live in Thornton, and I'm here today just to talk about my concerns about widening 270. Obviously, I know as well as anybody that driving 270 is often a nightmare, but I also know, like so many other people have pointed out here, that widening highways doesn't reduce congestion. It just induces demand. And we've got enough of a pollution problem there. The last thing we need is more cars on the road. I think the thing, though, that is most concerning to me is, yeah, the timing of this hearing and of public comment. This is the worst time of year to expect working class families, working class people to be able to come give testimony and get feedback and learn about this project. And I really think it's important that we set up public comment time in a way that it's accessible to the people who are going to be most impacted by this project. There are a lot of other options for reducing congestion that won't increase pollution and negatively impact the lives of people who are living right there. And I think we need to take the time to seriously consider and look at these options at least. And we need to give people a real opportunity to be able to have their input on this, because, you know, this isn't it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Braden Hellewell.
Great pronunciation. Thank you. My name is Braden Hellewell. I represent myself today. I am also a member of 350 Colorado and chair of the Suncor Plus committee within 350 Colorado. I am here to add my voice to those who are concerned with the widening of I-270, and please consider the community and the people within the community. This zip code is already among the highest polluted in the country, and it is disproportionately affecting marginalized voices, people of color. And please consider how widening these lanes, one, will not solve the traffic issue, and two, will only add pollution to an already very highly polluted area. I support the alternative option that has been provided by Green Latinos, and I think it offers some very reasonable and realistic opportunities to both solve the problem and improve the lives of the people in the community who live around I-270. That includes improved and increased regional transportation routes, better and more bike and pedestrian routes, and I think another very important factor would be adding more green space as well to help buffer the pollution of Suncor and of the highways in the area from the community that is the most affected. And lastly, I would also like to add my voice to those who have expressed concern on the timing of the comments. Please extend the window for comments past the holidays to allow those people who are so busy and working so much to have enough time to provide comment. Thank you for all you guys are doing. Very excited about the future and what we can all achieve together, and hope everybody enjoys the holidays. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Alejandra Castaneda.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for letting me speak today. My name is Alejandra Castañeda and I live in North Denver. I am here as a pedestrian dignity co-organizer to speak on behalf of people who have no choice but to walk, use a wheelchair, and take the bus or light rail to access essential services. Non-drivers make up around 30% of Coloradans, including my teen and her peers who take the bus, the public bus, to get to school, residents at Mountain View Apartments, a Denver Housing Authority community on Sound Federal, and the many others who you can easily see from CDOT's headquarters at 14th and Federal. Transportation expenses are the second highest household cost in Colorado, burdening low-income families and the 30% who don't drive a car or truck. Transportation decisions must give people equitable access without demanding they own and maintain an expensive motor vehicle. I'm extremely disappointed with CDOT plans to continue to underfund public transportation while spending billions of dollars on costly, polluting, and harmful highway expansions, like the one in I-270 and I-25 North, and now the almost billion-dollar Floyd Hill project. As advocates, we are often told state and local governments don't have enough funds to improve non-driver infrastructure. We are told that transportation needs must be balanced, while willfully ignoring the deep imbalance of current transportation decisions. We also hear the word multimodal used to push through projects that are 99% monomodal, prioritizing costly car plus truck infrastructure. We hear that highways bring economic benefits, while these arguments ignore the additional public health and environmental costs to communities. We know that widening highways is something we cannot afford and that eventually worsens traffic safety, congestion, and air pollution. Widening highways also continues the inequitable allocation of public resources into private motor vehicle infrastructure. We have known this for decades. I've been reading this history thesis from a student at the University of Colorado at Denver and Health Sciences Center, titled Freeway Fighters in Denver, 1948 to 1975. And we are still fighting freeways today. Today, I'm asking you to be courageous and transformative leaders to rebalance our transportation system and to ensure CDOT policies and actions meaningfully invest in local bus and rail service, the safest, most equitable, and most sustainable ways to travel, and to manage highway demand through tolling or congestion pricing. That would be a true win-win. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, did I miss anybody? She's Alejandra is the last person I had listed. Nope. Okay, we'll go ahead and conclude. Good thought. Okay, Herman suggested running through the folks who we didn't have on at first. So one was Jim Coleman, president of DG Coleman Trucking. Also Susan Perkins. Arlette Lucero. Holly Stokes, Tasia Villarreal, Kelvin Devora, and Eva Ramos. Okay, thank you all very much for appearing here or virtually. Okay, next on our agenda is comments of the chair and commissioners. And Jose asked me to remind all, and I need to be the first on the list, that once you're finished talking to hit your, and maybe Terry can help me do mine because I'm continually forgetting it. So forgive me. Okay, so I'll go in order of districts, except for that we'll focus on the folks virtually last. So first of all, District 1, Diane Barrett.
Thank you, Chair. I'm on a pretty steep learning curve as the newest member of this commission. And in pursuing that, I've had a couple of really interesting encounters in the last month. First of all, I was able to go to the Westwood Community Center for an open house public meeting about the federal BRT. And of course, it was fascinating to me because we're all living with the city's BRT project, and the fact of the differences between CDOT's approach and the city approach is fascinating, and people are just really interested in talking about it and thinking about it. And I was really impressed with the interest and enthusiasm that the folks who attended were expressing. Another thing that I really enjoyed doing on November 6th, I went to the STAC meeting. It was really interesting to listen to the MPOs and the planning folks, transportation planning folks, and hear their perspective on what's going on. So I hope to continue to do those sorts of little extracurricular activities. And I don't think I have anything else I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, Commissioner Juan Marcano.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So happy to report that we had our first transportation town hall last week in Aurora, starting with the city that I live in. Had a pretty good turnout, talked about a lot of CDOT's priorities, gave folks an idea of what the commission does, because you'd be surprised how many folks don't know that we exist. Yeah, it was a good time. A lot of folks in Aurora, y'all might be excited to hear, are actually very interested in the I-270 program or project as well. Going to continue making the rounds through D3 in the near future. So stay tuned for details on that. We're going to probably wait till after the holidays and then arrange with all of the jurisdictions that just had elections, let all the new council member elects settle in and arrange things there. So that's all I have for my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Jones.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to take another moment to echo the chair's appreciation for how much public comment we got today. It really shows how people are really engaged in the future of their communities and what the transportation system is. And there seems to be some common ground about the need to do something. What we do, there's a little more discussion, and certainly we have our work cut out for us. I also wanted to highlight the great presentations we got yesterday, in particular the work that CDOT's been leading on transportation electrification and how that combined with work at the Colorado Energy Office and the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment and the state legislature have all helped to make Colorado a national leader in EV sales, and how we beat out California this quarter in the highest percentage. I think we broke the national record for highest percentage of EV sales at 32%. So a lot for Colorado and CDOT to be proud of in that progress.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gutierrez?
Moved on you. Thank you, Chair Cook. I appreciate it. And I realize that my comments may be a little outdated, but due to our trip to Glenwood in October, I wanted to highlight in September, I was invited to attend the CDOT staff Hispanic Heritage Month program, and it was entitled Collective Heritage, Honoring the Past and Inspiring the Future. And I was actually inspired by Dr. Jessica Sanchez, who is involved in transportation issues and a transportation study. And I was especially interested in her study on transportation equity issues, and especially with mobility of older adults in Mexico City. Some of the information in that study, I believe, can be transferred to right here locally to Colorado. But collective heritage, honoring the past. One of the things I was going to initially, as a former educator, give everybody a quiz here, but in interest of time, I want to point out that in our history, Ken Burns is doing a big series on American Revolution. And one of the biggest failures of that presentation is the lack of the inclusion of the Hispanic contributions to the American Revolution. Most of you have probably never heard of Don Bernardo de Galvez. While the Continental Congress was fiddling around with how to fund the Continental Army, Galvez, who was the governor of New Orleans, made sure that he collected funds from the Hispanic peoples of the Caribbean islands, and that gold, he was able to buy gunpowder and cannon to supply Washington's army and moved it up the Mississippi River. Then he took 400 members of his garrison in New Orleans and about 600 other individuals from that area and attacked all of the forts along the Mississippi River that were blockading getting supplies to Washington's army, and won every one of those battles. And then with the help of the Spanish Navy, intimidated the British Navy and broke the blockade, which then allowed Washington to win the major battles because he broke those blockades. So to the employees of CDOT who have that Hispanic heritage, and to all of the young Hispanic people in the state of Colorado, I tell you, anden con orgullo, porque nosotros tenemos raíces fuertes en este país. I tell you, walk with pride, because we have strong roots in this country. And so thank you to the CDOT employees of Hispanic heritage. You're awesome.
Well, it's a special day. We get a history lesson. That was wonderful. Thank you. And another reason to appreciate the folks we have working for CDOT. Okay, then next person would be Commissioner McLaughlin.
May I follow somebody else, please? That was kind of a tough one. I may just pass for a minute here. I too am pretty new to this, so I'm running around trying to figure out who to meet and what to meet and how do I meet them. And we all live pretty far from each other, so we're doing a lot of Zooms with people. I got to meet a lot of people from the Valley, San Luis Valley on Zoom, and I'm also working with people from 3 and 5, and they presented yesterday, and so I got a really good clue in as to what they were doing yesterday, and then I present, and it was really interesting, and I don't know, I'm learning a lot on this, so believe it or not, I'm still really learning a lot. It's good, so I'm enjoying it. Silverton is really happy right now because they're just starting to get snow, and CDOT's done with everything on the highway, so they don't need to worry about that getting in their way. And Pagosa Springs is still not very happy, but they asked for a whole bunch of stuff to be done, and CDOT is doing all of that. and they want it done faster, I guess. So, so we're smiling a lot with them, and CDOT is regularly visiting with Pagosa Springs, and we think things will work out. But I guess people think that when you start ripping up highways and putting in sidewalks and new roads and all the wiring that needs to go, that it's going to take maybe a week, and it's taking a little bit longer than they expected. So we're working on it, but we're smiling a lot in Pagosa. So thanks to everybody who spoke today. I really, really appreciate it. It's good to get human beings in here who live and work where we are talking. It's not just people on a map, it's actually humans. So thank you. I appreciate that. And looking forward to the continued work. Thank you.
Thank you. And hope folks in Pagosa Springs are still recovering or are well recovered from the floods.
Kind of, yeah. It didn't hit the highway part of it, but they lost a few homes and things like that. So it was bad.
Commissioner Parsons?
Thank you. I'd just like to echo my colleagues' remarks and thank you for all attending and speaking here today. We do value your time and your public comments, and it does make a difference. So thank you. I also wanted to just extend my appreciation for Sal Pace attending the PPACG MPO meeting this month and sharing next steps with Southern Colorado partners on Front Range Passenger Rail. So, and also just want to say we look forward to working with Sal in his capacity as General Manager of the Front Range Passenger Rail District. The other thing I'll mention is just that I attended the Transportation Commission's statewide plan and GHG coordination committee meeting earlier this month. And I want to extend my appreciation to Darius and team for their very thorough presentation and explanation of that plan and process. So just want to thank the team for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Likewise. Commissioner Hart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple of comments today. I also want to thank everybody who sent in comments and appeared today, both either in the room or virtually. Your comments are well taken, and we always want to make sure that you know that we always do read those comments. We listen to the comments and we take them into consideration. And it's not just us. CDOT does that as well. So it isn't just the Transportation Commission. It's all of us. And we've had some very robust conversations about many of the issues that were raised today, not only on how to handle difficult situations like we have evolved at 270, but many of the other issues of the various types of solutions that are being proposed, and had a very good discussion on that at the CTIO board meeting yesterday as well. So just to let everybody know that we don't just sit here and then just try to outguess everybody. We try to listen to what everybody's got to say, what their thoughts are, their concerns, and then do the best that we can to help with our role in helping CDOT tackle these various issues. One of the things that I always like to say is it's extremely difficult to handle some of these transportation issues with the limited funds that we have in the state of Colorado. And Colorado has been pretty consistent over the last number of years of voting down every time that we've attempted to put a different kind of an idea on how to raise money to tackle these issues. And I just have to tell you, from working first as a county commissioner and now as a commissioner on the Transportation Commission, you know, I don't like paying taxes either, but my goodness, I really like the services that I get when I do pay the taxes. And so I do want to make sure that from my perspective, that is one of the most difficult pinch points that we're facing as a state. And so I just want to say from my perspective, please consider that if you see any new type of issues that come before you as a voter, and try to figure out how we as a state can help tackle some of these things. I also want to agree with the comments that I've heard this morning from my colleagues, particularly the presentation that we had yesterday on the electrification of Colorado. I'm particularly proud of that. I like Commissioner Jones. I'm extremely proud of the fact that Colorado's leading the nation in that process. I think that is our future. It's going to be difficult tackling some of the challenges to get there. but we will get it done. And, a number of years from now, we'll look back and say, well, how silly it was that we had to go through the process and try to figure out how to do it. But we'll get it done. I'm thrilled with where we are, and I'm extremely thrilled with the level of dedication that we get from CDOT on tackling those kind of issues to help us evolve into a very dynamic future that was going to help all of us, and particularly our health challenges. And then finally, I just want to say, I just want to thank everybody so much, my fellow colleagues on the Transportation Commission. It's always a delight. The number of folks that we have on the Transportation Commission, the wonderful people that we work with at CDOT, it's a delight. I'm amazed at how much I learn every single time I'm either engaged in a conversation here or here. And Commissioner Gutierrez, thank you for that lesson. I'll tell you, as a student of history, I did not know that. And I thought that was absolutely fascinating. So thank you so much for enlightening that for us, because extremely helpful. We in Southwestern United States have a critical importance for us to understand our heritage and our history, particularly because of our location of where we are in the history of what took place right here. So thank you so much for that. That's my comments this morning, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Oh, well put. Thank you so much. Okay, Commissioner Masters.
Good afternoon. In the essence of time, I'll spare you my safety rant and just say that if you're aware or not aware, we had a CDOT employee seriously injured this week out in Strasburg. My prayers to him and hoping for a speedy recovery. But it just goes to show that, you guys work with this guy. It's a very, very dangerous environment these guys work in. And I just want everybody over the holiday season to pay attention to what you're driving and pay attention to these guys plowing the snow and working on the roads. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, next going online, Commissioner Ritter.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And thanks to everybody who came before this commission today with some really trenchant comments. But I want to make a little broader issue about this issue of 270. 270 is actually pretty critical to those of us on the Western Slope in that it feeds from much of the, shall we say, the warehouse areas, the construction areas, of our state into I-70 up to the Western Slope. And I just want to keep us in thinking that it's not when we widen or not widen a road, it has impact not just on that area, Adams County, for instance, but it has impact throughout the state. And I think we have to keep that in mind as we move forward with these types of decisions. And I'm simply reminded about the importance of the integration of our thinking in terms of a sort of geographical integration, and how important that is to maintain the comity between the West Slope and the Front Range. On another matter, met with Senator Roberts this past month regarding a possible, shall we say, funding vehicle for greater wildlife crossings. And I'm looking forward to continuing that conversation with the CDOT team to see what we can put together and support his efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. And next, Vice Chair Bowman.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate this opportunity. I would like to give thanks to those also who gave public comments today. Your voices are very important. And I'd like to give a shout out about the 10-year plan process. We got wonderful presentations yesterday from Region 3 and 5. And congratulations and thank you to CDOT staff. Participating in this process has really been rewarding for me. It's a year-long process has been very thorough with broad feedback. The town halls were extremely thought-provoking, and we're so grateful to the public who participated. So I'm looking forward to the other regions' presentations. I'd also like to comment on the electrification, that we will be increasing electrification of byways in Colorado from 18 to 21 by June 30, which I think is absolutely fantastic. We have 20 presently. It's such a great opportunity for small and rural communities. And I also want to give a thank you to the CTO, Colorado Tourism Office, for really promoting this program. And then lastly, speaking of fixing roads, I'm very excited once again about the additional 80 million that is going into surface treatment. So with that, thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. I'll be very brief here for mine. No DRCOG meeting this month. It'll be virtual next month. I was able to attend a couple of open houses in 1 week. It was great. One was I-25 segment 2, and the other one was for the federal BRT. Both were really well attended and quite informative. And then attended a milestone event on Wadsworth 121. I think it's from approximately 33rd to up to I-70. They're reconstructing that area, and when they open it, or here shortly, they'll convert it to a continuous flow intersection, which will be quite a change for that area. And let's see, it was great to see Colorado leading in the EV adoption and charging infrastructure. I want to echo comments that others have made. And I would like to especially hold up Commissioner Masters' remarks about the highway maintainer who was struck on I-70 this week, a little bit east of town, and praying for him and hoping that he recovers fully. And would just remind people that it's state law that if you see somebody along the side of the road, be it one of our maintainers or emergency responder or even a disabled vehicle, I believe it's state law that you must pull over into the next lane if you can, and otherwise slow way down, like 20 miles an hour under the posted speed limit on the highway. So thank you for always keeping that front and center for us. Okay, that's it for me. Next, we have Director Liu online in virtual mode, so we'll turn it over to her for her report.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and a number of topics to touch on today. I too would like to start by kind of commenting on how much we're all thinking about the maintainer who was injured. We're hearing that he is expected to recover, which is great news, but it's a long road and a reminder of the kind of work that our folks do out there, and that the legal changes like the move over law, really have very grave consequences for the hardworking men and women who keep the state safe. And I think we touched on this last month, but it's kind of poignant to remind everybody that when the individual who struck our two workers last year was sentenced recently, pursuant to the great work that the Colorado State Patrol did in sort of marshaling the evidence. One of the charges was on the enforcement of the move over law. So, it is the law, and it's there for good reason of keeping people safe when they're in the line of duty. Secondly, I'd like to mention the phenomenal presentation and the really great news coverage of the work that our avalanche team is doing to prepare for winter this year. Several of us had the opportunity to attend the test of the new technology that's being installed, and it's really a new generation of mitigation options that are available. And investing in these sorts of things is not only a critical safety measure, but it can add a lot of efficiency to the system because of things like being able to program the charges in the middle of the night instead of having to have them during business hours, as it was often the case. So, as we continue to talk about these improvements over the coming months and the work that's happening sort of closer to the Empire area, but also in places like Vail Pass, there are many benefits ranging from safety to making it possible to keep the road open with greater frequency. Third, I'd like to kind of note the phenomenal work that our planning team has done on getting ready for these presentations around the 10-year plan. You had the chance to hear the West Loeb presentations this month, and we'll cover the Front Range in the winter. But the kind of format and the analytics that they've done have taken a lot of work, and we're very proud of the team for getting us to this point, and looking forward to the ongoing discussions in that regard. With that, and segueing to some touching on sort of the topic that's been discussed in the public comment, just from a process perspective, want to remind everybody that the discussion around the 10-year plan and what projects are included from a funding perspective is different than the sort of permitting process pursuant to the National Environmental Policy Act, which is where the I-270 project is in process. With that said, we really appreciate everybody taking the time to come and speak their perspective today. But in order for comments regarding a NEPA process to be formally considered, they have to be submitted through the public comment period. And we are anticipating that the draft environmental impact statement for I-270 will publish in the Federal Register tomorrow, sort of following signature a few weeks ago, but it couldn't publish until the federal government was reopened and they had caught up on some of the backlogs. So we do expect it to publish tomorrow, which will be followed by the 60-day notice and comment period. I want to talk a little bit about the process that sort of got us to this point, because I think it's important historical context. The I-270 project was a very important conversation in the first 10-year plan. Quite a number of years ago at this point, it was an important discussion topic in the compromise that led to the passage of Senate Bill 21-260. And there was a lot of back and forth about including the project then, and about sort of how we would do the analytics and the mitigation in a way that was robust and sort of balanced all of the different needs in a sensitive area. This, pursuant to the legal requirement, this project will have the NEPA analysis paralleled by a state report that does all of the air emissions modeling that was promised. That is coming out concurrently in a separate state report. And it also includes in all of the alternatives, a lot of mitigation that was negotiated early on, because there have been many years of back and forth with members of the community about how to structure the alternatives and what would be in them. There are kind of early action projects that are sort of related to specific considerations that were brought forward, local roads, sidewalks, crossings, other areas that needed to be part of the project at the outset. And you'll see as you read through the different alternatives that stuff is sort of baked into the overall analysis and has been for some time. There's also a significant consideration for how transit would fit into the alternatives. And I think in reading through what comes through in the report, that's a very important part of how the project and the project alternatives are defined. I think it's also important to note, I must give credit to the team. David Marinick and the whole team have done, incredible amount of work on making sure that all of this was included, and being out there and in dialogue early on, and really have taken very seriously the multifaceted nature of this project. One of the things that was part of this dialogue is that a couple of years ago there was a request to pivot from an environmental assessment process to an environmental impact statement process, which takes longer, but does provide more opportunities for input and back and forth. And that was accommodated, which is part of why it is publishing now and not some time ago. And there were some hard conversations around that because it added extra time to the process, but we were glad we did the analysis, and I think it adds a lot of value. The way a NEPA process works is that once a draft environmental impact statement is published, there's equal and kind of consistent opportunity for anyone who wants to comment. So, if others outside of the agency have suggestions for other alternatives, the time to put those forward is during the comment process alongside other comments. And, I think we expect that back and forth to be robust, and for there to be enough time to do it. I would note that the 3 public hearings that will be taking place, and only one is required. We're doing 3, are predominantly after the holidays, and there's quite a balance of time after the New Year's end to the holiday season, but there's also a lot of time in between. So I think we feel comfortable that 60 days, which in the context of NEPA analysis is a long comment period, should give plenty of time for these discussions. Also noting that the discussions have been going on for quite a long time already. So we look forward to the ongoing dialogue on this and appreciate the level of interest. And the fact that there are different perspectives is an important part of any major project. And we look forward to talking to everyone. But just want to kind of acknowledge the many years of work and the degree of rigor with which our team has engaged, and thank everyone for their interest. And that's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, next we have the Chief Engineer's report. Keith Stefanik. Oh, Bob Hayes.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. I am not Keith Stefanik. Bob Hayes, Deputy Chief Engineer. Keith is hopefully on a beach right now, enjoying some well-deserved time off. I did want to take a moment this morning, though, to brief the Commission on an update on the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise within CDOT, so DBE for short. On October 3rd, the rules for DBE certification fundamentally shifted when the U.S. Department of Transportation's new interim final rule eliminated race, gender, and national origin as automatic qualifiers for DBE certification. Moving forward, DBEs will have to be reevaluated and will not be able to use race, gender, or national origin as a basis for certification. So once CDOT was made aware of this IFR from USDOT, we took immediate action. Our goal was to understand what the new IFR required, and then any projects that were under advertisement at the time or were about to be advertised to make modifications to those so that we were following federal law. We also want to ensure that each region and each project is uniformly applying these new rules. And so we also put out bulletins and guidance so that we are, as a department and an agency, we are uniformly applying the rules across all projects. On October 24th, USDOT provided a list of FAQs that did give some limited guidance on some of the challenges that we were finding with the IFR. And so we were able to take that guidance and modify those bulletins and update guidance out to the regions to ensure that we were once again being consistent in our application of the new rule. Moving forward, CDOT is working very closely with our uniform certification program partners, so that's the City and County of Denver and DIA, the airport, to develop a uniform approach for the reevaluation process for these DBEs. We're hopeful that we'll be able to provide guidance to the previously certified DBEs and any potentially new DBEs within the next few weeks to start that process. I would like to point out, though, that CDOT does have an existing emerging small business program, and that is unaffected by this IFR. And so we are moving forward with that as we have in the past. We're also looking for opportunities to make that more robust and actually insert that program in more projects during this interim period where there's just a lot of unknowns. While the new USDOT rule presents significant challenges and uncertainty for the DBE program, CDOT has taken swift and decisive action to ensure compliance with all current and upcoming projects that are going to be advertised. Our immediate focus is working with that UCP right now, so the City and County of Denver and DIA, to ensure that we have a uniform process moving forward with the DBE certification. And we'll also try and maximize our existing emerging small business program to the extent that we can. With that, I'll take any questions if anybody has any.
Any questions for Bob Hayes? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have CTIO, Piper Darlington.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning, Commissioners. Wanted to really give the entire commission an update on what's happening on I-25 North. We held our board meeting, our CTIO board meeting yesterday, and our board approved toll rates for I-25 North. We call them segments 6, 7, and 8, but this is really Meade to Fort Collins. So we have been actively out there testing tolling equipment, installing tolling equipment. It's been under test for several months. So we adopted toll rates as that project is expected to go live for tolling here in early January. So I wanted to provide just a little information to the commissioners. If you're going to be driving up north on I-25 over the Thanksgiving holiday, we are doing a lot of community messaging. In addition to tolling going live, we are also going to be going live simultaneously with the safety and tolling enforcement program. So again, that's we're able to issue civil penalties for folks who weave across the solid line and evade the toll, essentially. So we're really combining messaging. We're doing a lot of print ads, TV placements. I know Commissioner Gutierrez has seen ads, in the newspaper. So we're doing a lot of 30-second clips on Instagram. You'll hear information on Pandora, on the radio. So we are also partnering with driving schools through CU. So we're really trying to reach everyone to let them know, one, that tolling is commencing and it's no longer free, and that we are also going live with the safety and tolling enforcement program. So we have really been focused a lot on communications and will continue to do so in the next month. So just wanted to make the larger commission aware that we are going to be opening up those lanes for tolling here at the beginning of January. But happy to answer any other questions commissioners may have.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Next, we have STAC, State Transportation Advisory Committee Chair, Gary Beatty.
Good morning, Commission. First off, I'd like to thank the commissioners that did participate or listen in on our STAC meeting at the beginning of November, and encourage all of you to listen in on those when we're online. Most of the time, we are going to meet in person again in February as the 1601 rules are working through some revisions on those. People wanted to have some input and make sure that some concerns that people have had in different regions, that those are looked at and considered in the rewriting of the 1601 rules for access. The main items that we approved to recommend to you are we approved the budget proposals and the redistribution funding, and those STAC voted to recommend approval of those that you'll be voting on here shortly on the supplementals and the proposed 26-27 budget. We also voted to approve the rural planning assistance allocation formulas that helps fund the TPRs and MPOs for their planning that we do to help guide CDOT's transportation planning. Okay, got those. Just wanted to make a few comments about the workshops yesterday, the asset management. That's always been one issue that's always brought up in the TPRs and through the STAC is the quality of our statewide system and the asset management. One of the things that really stuck out and always has stuck out to me is that those numbers are not increasing with the inflationary cost of maintaining our roads. Those budget items have been steady for, I think, well over 10 years. And again, as mentioned earlier in all the comments, the shortfall of funding, and we really need to find leadership in the state to let the people know that we are short on funding to meet our transportation needs, whatever that is. And our base system is continuing to decline, as we saw yesterday in those presentations. I was impressed with the Bridge and Tunnel Enterprise proposal with the added funding that they are getting, and they are looking at really trying to slow the decline of the bridge decks. That's something that I think we need to try to get into the pavement management, as the low volume roads have continued to fall and they don't meet the cost benefit analysis that the asset management requires. So we've been having to address that through the 10-year plan, rural paving projects, the redistribution funding to try to address these roads that don't meet the criteria that we have set in other areas of this funding. So I would like to figure out a way to improve that. With a lot of the rural paving projects that have been done, we're not going out and doing the chip sealing and things to extend the life of those because of those formulas and things. And I'd like to see CDOT really work and try to figure out a way to extend the life of the recent projects that have been done over the last 10-year plan projects that have gone out and done a lot of paving on these rural roads around the state and even within areas like Bennett. And some of those are not rural anymore. There's a lot of state highways throughout the state that don't meet those criteria sometimes for that cost benefit. So a way to improve that, because I hear that constantly through the planning regions, of the major concern throughout the state of keeping and maintaining our statewide system. So just those comments on those issues as we move forward on trying to figure out how to fund and meet all the future needs, the transit, bike ped, all the other things that CDOT continually has been expanding, trying to address more issues. And we need to find more funding and get the people to understand and support that. And it will take good state leadership from our representatives, governor, and transportation commission, and even our planning regions. We're all wanting to try to help that process, to find new funding, to maintain our system, and then try to meet these growing needs. So thank you.
Any questions for Chair Beatty? I had a quick one. Does STAC go virtual now for the winter?
We're not meeting in December. We
Mhm.
will have virtual in January. We did decide to do a in-person in February, and then we're virtual all but 2 meetings normally through the year. We may go to doing a quarterly in-person. People like to be able to get together and meet with staff and things too. So it's trying to balance people driving, but we will be in person February, but January and March and April will be in online.
Okay, great, thanks. And kudos to Commissioner Barrett for attending the recent one. If you can't, or if they're virtual, you can tune in via YouTube. And I like to do that when I can, when they're live, but regardless, you can go back and listen to it because you get a really good sense for the state as a whole, the issues that are coming up, and then also some pretty good meaty discussions of the stuff that comes before us. So just wanted to put in a plug for that. Thank you. Okay, we're down to our consent agenda. We have 7 resolutions on the consent agenda. I'll read them briefly. Resolution number 1, that's just to approve the regular meeting minutes of October 16. Proposed resolution number 2, IGA approval for amounts that are greater than $750,000. Number 3, disposal parcel 333 REV-EX, that's at C470 in Bowles and Littleton. Proposed resolution number 4, declaration of excess parcel 806EX I-25 in Santa Fe. Proposed resolution 5, update to policy directive workforce violence. Proposed resolution 6, FY26 maintenance projects. These are the ones between 150K and 300K. And then finally, proposed resolution number 7, referral of access appeal on State Highway 159A to the Colorado Department of Personnel Office of Administrative Courts. We workshopped some of this. Some of it was in the supplemental materials, but does anybody want to remove any of the items from the consent agenda? Okay, any questions on them? Well, if not, I'd take a motion to approve. Commissioner Masters?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Jones, okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 I think we're good there. Next is discuss and act on proposed resolution number 8. That's the 4th budget amendment of fiscal year 2025 and 26. Welcome back. You're already back in town.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sorry to miss your meeting yesterday. I have a request before you this morning to approve the budget amendment. I know that you, for fiscal year 26, that you reviewed in workshop yesterday. The fiscal year 26 budget amendment includes, let's see here, 4 different items. The first is a request to reallocate $80 million from the TC program reserve to line 4 surface treatment. That is for the projects focused on improving pavement condition that you mentioned earlier in your discussion and reviewed in workshop yesterday. There is another request included in the amendment to reallocate $14.2 million to the maintenance reserve fund, that's line 36, to address a projected shortfall in personal services budget for the MLOS program. The third request is a request to allocate $2 million from the TC program reserve to the agency operations line 66. Those funds are to replace unreliable avalanche exploders used for avalanche mitigation on Loveland Pass. And then the final item in the budget amendment is a request for $1.1 million, again, reallocating from the TC program reserve to the maintenance program areas. That's lines 23 to 32 in your budget. And that request is to cover a roll forward that was missed in ERA this summer and restore some funding for a striping project in Region 4. If you approve these amendments, this will bring the TC program reserve balance down to about 47.1 million. So again, we reviewed in prior workshops the last few months the revenue reconciliation, the redistribution, which brought us up to a healthy balance of about 150 million. This is now, these budget amendments, if approved, will bring us back down to sort of our target range of about 40 to 50 million. We'll leave about 47.1 million in the reserve. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, I'd request that you consider a motion to approve.
Any questions for Jeff Sudmeyer? Okay, motion?
I move approval.
Commissioner Parsons?
Second.
Commissioner Marcano? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? There you go.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, next we're acting on number 9. That's the third budget supplement of fiscal year 25 and 26.
Thank you. The third supplement includes 3 items. Again, I believe you reviewed these in workshop yesterday. The first 2 are requests from the Transportation Commission Contingency Reserve. The first is a request from Region 2 for $2,156,180 in funds from the reserve. These funds are intended to reimburse the region's critical culvert program and maintenance unit for a completed emergency repairs to a culvert on Colorado 21 Powers Boulevard in Colorado Springs. So again, they acted quickly, repaired the work with their own funds, but need reimbursement now so that they don't have to cancel out other planned projects. The second contingency request is a request from Region 5 for 5.1 million from the contingency reserve. And that is to replace 2 overhead pipe structures that move irrigation water above US 160 west of Bayfield. Both of those are aging, are leaking, and need to be replaced. And I think as it was discussed in your memo, this is actually going to be, this particular amendment is roughly net neutral to the contingency because of some funds that were returned from other projects, including the Blue Mesa project. And then the final item, the supplement, is a request from Region 1 for $1,637,611 in federal bridge formula program funding for the construction phase project of a bridge preventative maintenance project. This is an increase in that project budget, and the funds are needed because of an updated cost estimate showing cost escalation in materials, including a bridge expansion device. So happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, I'd request you consider a motion to approve.
Any questions on resolution 9? Okay, take a motion.
I move approval.
Commissioner Parsons and Commissioner Masters, second. Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, and finally, resolution number 10, fiscal year 26-27 proposed annual budget allocation plan.
Thank you. All right, last item for me. Proposed fiscal year 27 budget allocation plan, which again, you reviewed in workshop yesterday. That full document, which includes our revenue allocation plan, our spending plan, a narrative budget, that is available on the CDOT website. I'm requesting your approval of this budget in draft form so that we can submit it in time for a December 15 requirement for us to submit to the Office of State Planning and Budget. But this is far from the final budget. We will be back again in January, February, and March with updates to that budget, further discussion before we request final approval of that budget in March. In terms of where we are at in the budget cycle currently, the proposed budget is balanced. It totals, the revenue allocation plan component of the budget totals approximately 2.3 billion. That is allocating nearly 800 million to capital construction programs, nearly 600 million to maintenance and operations programs, and nearly 350 million to sub-allocated programs. It also forecasts expenditures in fiscal year 27 for CDOT and the enterprises of roughly 2.8 billion. So happy to answer any questions, but otherwise I'd request you consider a motion to approve.
Any questions? Okay, we're just whipping through these, but Bethany did a great job of workshopping them, so it was good.
I figured as much. Thanks.
Okay, another motion, please.
So moved.
Commissioner Marcano? Second. Commissioner Gutierrez? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, there you go. Thank you. I've decided, that the budget is like painting the San Francisco Bridge. You do it and do it and do it, and then when you finally finish, you start on the new one. But then sometimes you have to go back to where you'd been painting to make some changes and so forth. It's kind of a cycle. All right. All right. Next, we have a really fun piece, and welcome back, Gary Voncich, to talk recognition. This is under recognitions and other matters. He's recognizing the winners of the 2025 CDOT Innovations Challenge. So I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you.
Sure, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Again, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to highlight our CDOT Innovations Challenge winners today. Members of Team CDOT are working day in and day out to make our operations more safer. Again, that's the most important thing here at CDOT, safer, but also more effective, more efficient, and more customer focused. And our CDOT Innovations Challenge is our annual process for recognizing the best of the best. You may be asking yourself, why a competition? As Sean Smith, our Director of Maintenance and Operations, often says, you can build camaraderie through competition. And that's exactly what we're doing. Camaraderie through competition, excellence through innovation. There are 2 rounds in our annual Innovations Challenge competition. In the first round, each region appointed a judging panel that decided on winners from the many innovations in their own region. We have 5 regions, as you know, at CDOT, and the collection of divisions and offices at headquarters is considered a 6th region. In August, we announced those regional winners for each of the regions, and we celebrated their successes. And those regional winners became the finalists for the second round, the statewide round of the CDOT Innovations Challenge. The awards for the statewide round are chosen in 2 ways. First, there was a statewide judges panel composed of 15 people from across CDOT. Some of those people are here in the room today, and from headquarters staff. Those judges used a set of criteria for judging those innovations in 4 areas. First, at the top of the list, safety. Did this improve safety? And then also, did it help improve productivity and customer service? Did it actually save time and money? And was it original? Secondly, and this is the most exciting part, for the statewide round, all 3,300 Team CDOTers had the opportunity to vote for their favorite innovation from the full list of statewide finalists in what we call the People's Choice voting. That voting occurred during 4 weeks during the late fall and early summer. Next, please. Oh, next. The judges panel yielded 3 statewide runners-up and 3 statewide winners, and you'll hear about them today, and 1 in each of these 3 categories: outstanding tool improvement, outstanding improvement in productivity, and outstanding business process improvement project. And the People's Choice voting yielded a runner-up and winner 2. These runner-up and winner innovations come from the efforts led by people in regions 1 and 4 and the Division of Engineering. And the winners will be presented today by the RTDs from regions 1 and 4 and by our Deputy Chief Engineer. The trophies being presented today were designed by my staff and the CDOT Creative Arts staff and were printed on metal highway sign stock by the CDOT Sign Shop and the Division of Maintenance and Operations. My thanks to all of these groups. For celebrating the first set of honorees, I am pleased to be joined at the podium by the RTD for Region 4, Heather Paddock. Next, please. And next, the runner-up is the heated snowplow headlights innovation, which also won in another category. So we are going to tell you about that later. I'm going to turn the podium over to Heather for the winner. Next, please.
Good morning, commissioners. I'm very happy to present this award. You guys commented earlier about the work that our maintainers do and the safety involved in that work. And these guys were very resourceful and innovative in the design that they created here. I am going to have Ed Skinner come up and talk a little bit about the apparatus that they designed, but I do want to just give a shout out to Donald Lunsford, who's recently retired from CDOT. But we all know getting in and out of big pieces of equipment, we always need 3 points of contact. Can't really tell the size of this vehicle, but as they climb up that ladder, there was nothing to hang on to. And they're in that, they work in those trucks quite often. And so it doesn't matter, young or old, you need a place to hang on to. And so they were very resourceful in their design, and I'm gonna have Ed talk about it.
Well, hi, I'm Ed Skinner. Don Lunsford was probably the main designer of this. So what we did is we acquired, our TM3 acquired us some stainless steel nuts, and we welded them onto the side of the ladder. And then we scrounged around and we found a pin that holds Jersey barriers together. And that's what slides up and down in the ladder there to make it safer to climb up on top of the V-boxes on our sanders. As it was before, you had to get up on your hands and knees, then you had to stand up on top of the box. In winter snowstorms, it gets awful slick up there. Some of the box tops or the grates that are on top of the sanders are stainless steel. Stainless steel is definitely slicker than regular steel. And you slip and fall, it's 8 to 10 feet to the ground. So this helps you to stabilize yourself and get up on top of the box to mash down the clods and stuff that get up there when you're loading the trucks with sand and salt. And it also helps you to get down, so you don't have to get on your hands and knees and climb down off the ladder. And I don't know if you're referred to OSHA standards, but they also require, OSHA standard requires that you have a 3-foot section above a hole or on top, or your ladder should extend 3 feet. And I know that CDOT and Colorado, whatever, government entities do not go by OSHA standards. And that's why we kind of designed this. So Don, you got anything else you can add to it?
Well, it's not much to look at, but it's very effective.
The guys in the region, they call it the old man handle. So, and Mr. Yukowicz was the one that called it the balance point.
But yeah, it's very effective. I appreciate this getting out, and I hope it helps get them on other trucks because it is very valuable.
Thank you.
And a quick photo op here, please. Thank you. Next category, next slide, please, is the award for outstanding productivity improvement. Next slide. Our runner-up, and we will get this to Jim Gonzalez in Region 5. Jim Gonzalez noted that in Region 5, many small towns were installing speed radar signs powered by solar panels. The provided panels were too short, consistently too short, to mount both the sign and the solar panel. To solve this, Jim created a custom mounting system to mount the solar panels above the signs. Jim is a wonderful, many-time innovator. Jim, thank you, and we're going to get this award to you in Region 5. Next, please. Heather Paddock is going to announce our winner. Next slide, please.
All right. Again, happy to announce the winner, Cameron Contras, for the post hole, the cable rail, what are we calling it? Let's just see here. The post remover. I know there's a lot of discussion yesterday about what our maintainers do. If you think about all the little things you do just to keep track of your house, right? Changing the light bulbs, putting on paint, you name it, mowing your yard. The highway system is massive, right? And they are out there making it look beautiful every single day. And keeping our drivers safe. What you don't realize is that every single day, our guardrails get hit, every single day. And our maintainers are out there, just like an individual was yesterday, out there fixing our guardrail. So cable rail is, I would say, a newer type of guardrail. It's been around for a while, but is still newer. And I'm going to let Cameron speak to the innovation that he did to help remove and repair these cable rail posts when they get hit by our drivers.
It basically started with going out and working with a crew and realizing with the moisture we'd had at the post had frozen to the ground. And we were told when we were sold these items that, oh, they'll just pull right out. With them being froze in, it made it a little more difficult. And they were doing different things, and I figured there had to be a better way to do it. What I did was took an existing T-post puller that we have. It's got a removable piece that would fit on a T-post and pull that out of the ground. Utilize some scrap iron, square tubing, and a chain with a hook. Build an attachment for it. Then figured that in all of our trucks, we have some sort of chain. And we could wrap a chain around it, use that as a lever, pull a post out of the ground. Works wonderfully. The first time out with it, we removed about 18 posts in 15 minutes. And it was quick and effective and made the job 100 times easier.
Thank you, Cameron. Next slide, please. We're next to the award for the Outstanding Larger Business Improvement Project. Next slide. I'm going to ask Bob Hayes, our Deputy Chief Engineer, to join us. The runner-up is the CDOT GeoHub. The CDOT GeoHub is an internal online geographic information system that allows users to explore, develop, and share geospatial data, maps, and applications. This was actually part of, like all of our innovations, part of the People's Choice Award voting too. Some people added comments. One of the comments was, GeoHub is life. It makes life so much easier for folks. It was the runner-up. There's a lot of great competition out here. The award for this was actually presented by our Division of Transportation Development Director in this very room earlier this week to the members of the team. Thank you, Darius, for doing that. And I'm going to turn it over to Bob Hayes for the winner. Next slide, please.
Hello again, commissioners. Thank you, Gary. So the winner for the operational level of service, the winner for the Outstanding Business Improvement Project is the operational level of service dashboard. And I just have to read what this dashboard is in Ben Asimovich and Elena Farhadi's words. The operational level of service dashboard is a web-based tool that helps evaluate mobility and reliability across the state highway system and major arterials. Built to support the CDOT PD 14 goals, clean transportation WIGs, and regional decision-making, the dashboard uses traffic probe data and GIS layers across 6 use cases. The operational level of service tool expanded the network from 6,605 to 16,580 TMC segments and added over 131,000 XD segments, now covering 5,000 miles of state roadway. So what does that mean? It means that we've got a lot of data for our roadway, both safety, operational, data that used to live in a lot of different locations within various sources. These folks are brilliant, and they came up with a way in order to take all of that data and combine it onto one dashboard that's user-friendly, it's public-facing. It allows our folks, our traffic engineers, to be able to make excellent decisions in real time with great data. And so with that, I'd like to introduce Ben Asimovich and Elena Farhadi. And they don't want to say anything. So anyway, we appreciate you guys. Awesome job. Thanks so much.
Next slide, please. And there was a People's Choice competition. Again, it's my favorite part of the Innovations Challenge. Next slide, please. That was all the statewide or the regional winners were put into this competition. And it was really close on the voting. The runner-up was Stepping Up Safely from Region 2. Walter, we will get you this award. Walter noticed that there were a lot of places where we were asking people to step up into trucks that might have been a little bit less than safe. Tandem flatbed trucks are designed mainly for hauling material and equipment and not for holding personnel during mobile operations. These setups require frequent climbing up and down off the truck's flatbed. Current ladder designs and other mounting techniques present an increased chance for accidents while climbing on and off the bed. Just like Cameron said, Walter said there's got to be a better way. He developed a fold-away, step-away ladder with handrails that pulls out from under the truck beds, the truck's flatbed, and it makes it a lot safer climbing up and down. So Walter, thank you. We will get you this wonderful trophy to you in Region 2. And I am going to ask Jessica Mickelbust, our RTD for Region 1, to help me with the presentation of the winner. If we could go to the next slide, please.
Morning, commissioners. Really excited and proud of my team and all the individuals who take the time when they have a great idea to bring it forward. So this particular idea, the heated snowplow headlights, if you can imagine you're responsible for plowing a roadway, snow is flying in your face, it's flying all over the road, it's freezing cold, and then your headlights are glazed over with ice. It can be kind of a really challenging situation to decide, do I pull over and try and wipe them off? How do I get the headlights clean? So this team came up with a really amazing innovation. I'll let them talk a little bit about it, but essentially heating the snowplow headlights so the snow just melts right off of them. So really awesome innovation, and really excited to present this award to Kelly Jerome and Curtis Rathburn for the heated snowplow headlights. You want to say a few words?
Thank you, commissioners, for having us today. This is amazing. 29 years of being here, and this is awesome. But I'd also like to say thank you to all my rest of my colleagues for the amazing innovations that we've come up with. It is beyond. The lights that we came up with, and also we had help from a few others in submitting this idea. But as Jessica pointed out, the candle kept blowing out. And we just like, well, there's got to be a better way. We found these with the help from our mechanic, able to implement this. And these things are amazing. They will pierce the night. I mean, we have a lot of roadway lighting in our area here in the metro area, but we realized that this will probably help out all the guys that are on nights plowing the mountain passes where you don't know if anything's in front of you until you're upon it. This will be able to see further, better, just all around excellent. So, but thank you all.
Quick photo op.
Oh, sure.
Next slide. Want to congratulate all of our innovators, these winners, but also all the innovators that have been part of the competition across CDOT. We plan, build, operate, and maintain the Colorado transportation system. We're implementing great things every day, and we're improving great things every day across the Colorado transportation system. Thank you for the opportunity to share in our joy this morning. Next slide. I just wanted to see if there's any comments or any questions you have for me, or for particularly for any of our wonderful innovators out here. Commissioners?
I have one. First of all, I think beyond the operational improvements, this sort of thing does, I mean, it transmits the idea that we have a culture of innovation. That's wonderful. Instead of people being territorial about changes and so forth, you have cultivated the opposite of that. And secondly, I would think it would be really empowering for people to know that they can take it upon themselves to make things better, to do things better. But question, how do things that get developed in one area get sort of propagated or transferred to other areas? Does that happen?
Oh, thank you for that question, Commissioner. Absolutely. So there's a couple of things. We, every time, and our innovators know this, every time there's an innovation that gets, first of all, approved to, you innovated it, but we actually make sure that it's safe. Once it's approved, we actually develop what we call an idea card. We put it in our online innovations catalog database. That database currently has 461 innovations that have been developed over the years. That helps us get it out not just to people in CDOT, but it's actually on our external page so that people in other states can actually borrow this. Just to brag a little bit on Region 2, there was a innovation that won 3 years ago. Our plow blade installer card, it makes it much safer to put plow blades on and off our plows. Certainly, we've spread it across CDOT, but it's also been borrowed by a lot of other transportation agencies. Most recently, I was on a call with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, and they said, oh yeah, we took that innovation and we're implementing it. We have information online about how to borrow great innovations from our team CDOTers. Additionally, we have a network of what we call Lean Everyday Idea Committees in each of our regions. As something's developed in one area, we put it on our website, but we also let the other regional committees know about that innovation so that they can borrow that. And then third, we know that sometimes money can be an issue, so we've been able to cobble together some CDOT money and some special use FHWA money into an innovation fund to help fund those replications.
Terrific, yeah. And then just would note, in addition to making more efficient, Mr. Contreras was, yeah, those things limit the amount of time that you all are at hazard on the highway too. So in light of what's happened this week, thank you. And then we heard at EGMT about the icing up problem with the snowplow equipment. So we can see how timely and important all of this is. So thank you to everybody involved. Okay.
Thank you for that question. Other questions or comments that commissioners might have?
Both, most of these innovations that I see, I'm always amazed that you do such great work with limited funding and limited resources, and yet you come up with some incredible ideas. Having spent significant time in the military, in the Signal Corps, some of those ladders climbing up and off those vehicles, I would have loved to have had some of those. Pulling up those stakes, we had a lot of grounding stakes that would have, your invention would have been made my life a whole lot easier serving in that Signal Corps. So to all of you, just a fabulous job. I'm just so proud of all of you.
Thank you so much for what you do and for all that you all have accomplished.
And thank you for your continued support. I tell folks very often, I'm the most fortunate person on the planet for many reasons. Wonderful wife of many years, terrific kids that are grown and making great contributions, and the very best job on the planet. I get a chance to work with folks day in and day out across CDOT who are innovating and making lives better. We appreciate this opportunity each year to come to Commission and celebrate the very best of the best through the Innovations Challenge. With your consent, we'll come back again next year for the FY26 Innovations Challenge runners-up and winners. Thank you, folks.
Vice Chair Bowman, please.
I just wanted to say this is a highlight for me every year. Congratulations. I look forward to it. I am constantly amazed. Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you for your kind thoughts, Vice Chair. Thank you for your time. I know there's a lot on the agenda. Thank you for celebrating our innovators today. And I'll turn it back to you, Chair Cook.
Thank you, Mr. Benser. And thank you all for staying here through a long early meeting, so we appreciate that you did that. Wish we could have put you first on the agenda. Okay, that's the last item. We'll go ahead and adjourn and go right into the Bridge and Tunnel Enterprise Board of Directors meeting. Please call the roll, Herman.
Director Barrett, Director Barrett? Here, present. Director Marcano?
Present.
Director Jones? Director Gutierrez?
Present.
Director Ritter?
Here.
Director McLaughlin?
Present.
Director Parsons?
Present.
Director Hart?
Here.
Director Masters?
Here.
Vice Chair Bowman?
Here.
Chair Cook?
Here. Okay, first thing we have is room for public comments. Anybody signed up or in the room to address the board? Okay, then we'll go ahead and move to the consent agenda. We have proposed resolution BTE number 1. That's just approving the regular meeting minutes of October 16, 2025.
I move approval.
Commissioner Parsons. Second, Gutierrez. Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Looks like we're good there. Move into discuss and act on proposed resolution BTE 2. That's the 5th budget supplement to FY 2025. Workshop this yesterday. Yeah, go ahead, Patrick, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'm here to request your approval of the 5th supplement to the fiscal year 2026 Bridge and Tunnel Enterprise Budget. This month's supplement includes 2 requests. The first is from Region 3 for $20.2 million to initiate the construction phase of the US 6 and Wadsworth Bridge replacement as part of the larger 10-year plan project that's reconstructing the interchange. As we discussed yesterday, the board previously approved a commitment in principle in 2023 to allocate $20 million in BTE state funding match to the project contingent on the award of a RAISE grant, and the department was ultimately successful in pursuing that grant. So we're turning to you today as the project is nearing advertisement to request formal approval of the budget to fund the construction phase. As I mentioned, the structure is in the top tier of our most recent bridge prioritization plan. The second request is from Region 4 for $1 million to initiate the design phase for the replacement of US 287 over Dale Creek in Larimer County as part of the US 287 passing lanes and safety improvements 10-year plan project. This bridge is in the second tier of our most recent bridge prioritization plan. We're requesting to accelerate funding for this project at this time to capitalize on the economies of scale offered by the larger project, accelerate the timetable for which we can complete the Poor Bridge. And we discussed yesterday the corridors being brought up to standard, installing wider shoulders. This will prevent the bridge from being a pinch point or a point where the shoulders neck down along the corridor. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. If there are none, I humbly request you consider a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Commissioner Gutierrez and Commissioner McLaughlin, second. I would note a tiny correction, US 6 and Wadsworth Bridges in Region 1. So, yeah, anyway. Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anybody, thank you. Anybody opposed? Okay, next we go on to BTE number 3. That's resolution FY 26-27 proposed annual budget allocation plan.
Thank you again, Chair. I'm here to request your approval of the proposed FY 2027 BTE budget allocation plan in parallel with the larger department-wide budget and as a follow-up to the budget workshops we held in September and yesterday. The proposed budget would allocate a total of $199.2 million in forecast fiscal year 2027 BTE revenue collections as follows. So we have 117.3, or just under 60% of our revenues to the capital construction program, 78.3 million to debt service payments on our bond programs and the Central 70 availability payments, and then the remaining 1.5% of our budget to administrative and operating costs and maintenance and preservation on Bridge and Tunnel Enterprises asset pool. With that, happy to answer any questions you may have. If there are none, I request you consider a motion to approve.
Any questions? Okay, ready for a motion?
So moved.
Commissioner Masters, who was second? Over here? Commissioner Marcano? Okay. Well, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, it looks like we're done. Thank you, Patrick, and appreciated comments about the preventive maintenance and the work that you're doing. So thank you for that. All right, we'll adjourn and move right into the Fuels Impact Enterprise Board of Directors meeting. Again, Herman Stockinger, please call the order or call the roll.
Director Barrett. Director Marcano.
Present.
Director Jones.
Present.
Director Gutierrez.
Here.
Director Ritter.
Here.
Director McLaughlin.
Present.
Director Parsons.
Here.
Director Hart.
Here.
Director Masters.
Here.
Vice Chair Bowman.
Here.
Chair Cook.
Here. Thank you. Okay, do we have anybody signed up or in the room for public comment? Looks like no. Okay, first thing on the agenda is the consent agenda. That's FIE 1 to approve the regular meeting minutes of August 21, 2025. Anybody have any changes or a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Gutierrez is the seconder. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, that sounds good. And then next item is FIE number 2, approval of FIE funds for Region 4 and 5 resurfacing projects. Darius Pakpas. Thank you.
Thank you, Board of Directors. This request is coming forward to you that was workshopped in September. Is allocating the state portion of the FIE budget for smaller resurfacing projects in regions 4 and 5 for areas along freight routes in order to help with freight movement and the movement of transportation as was required under the business rules of the enterprise. These amounts equate to $1.25 million for Region 4 and $476,810 for Region 5. These will be for smaller projects carried out by our maintenance staff. And I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have, but I will ask for approval on this motion today.
Okay, any questions of Darius? Commissioner Masters moved, Commissioner McLaughlin, second. All righty, all in favor of number FIE 2, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, anybody opposed? Nope. Then onward to FIE 3, approval of FIE funds for Region 3 resurfacing project. Please.
Thank you, Board of Directors. This request before you today is to allocate $8 million of the available balance for state projects to the I-70 resurfacing from Horizon Drive to Palisade project that was workshopped with the Board of Directors yesterday. This project is anticipated to cost about $9.1 million. So this will make up the bulk of the majority of the cost of that project, which will improve pavement along a key highway freight corridor and a hazardous material corridor and supporting the field transportation operations in Mesa County. Based off of the recommendation, we believe that this fits within the business purpose of the enterprise, especially with one of the major fuel distributing areas through on the western slope. So happy to answer any questions about this proposal today. Otherwise, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
Okay, any questions? Looks like, oh. Okay, yes, please, Commissioner Masters.
So $500,000 already we're adding 8.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, are we adding 2, what you need, or is 8 enough? You said it was a $9 million project?
Correct.
They're already-
So the balance is going to be remained out of the 10-year plan anticipated proposal.
Okay, thank
So
you.
1.1 million strategic funds. My apologies, I didn't mention that earlier.
Vice Chair Bowman?
I'm just moving. I'd like to move. Happily move. We're very excited about this.
It is good stuff, yeah.
Okay. Second was Commissioner Gutierrez. Yeah, and I've been impressed with how you've been able to use the FIE funds so far in terms of improvements in all parts of the state. So thank you. Everybody in favor of that, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, there we go. And one last, FIE number 4. This is the proposed budget allocation plan, just as we've done for the others.
Thank you, Board of Directors. This is the draft budget for FY27 for the enterprise that was workshopped in September. The anticipated funds for the enterprise for FY27 for the revenue is around 15 million per what is required under statute. The allocations to the local entities of around 10 million is included in that budget proposal. There is a amount of around 403,792 for administrative costs and board contingency. And then the remaining balance is available for enterprise state funded programs as approved by the Board of Directors. And of course, as the Chief Financial Officer said, a final budget proposal will be brought forward in the early spring as part of the CDOT budget packet. Happy to answer any questions. Otherwise asking for a motion to approve.
Okay, any questions or a motion? Commissioner Masters?
Second.
Commissioner Marcano, okay. Well, let's say, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Nope. Okay, Darius, thank you very much. And
Thank you, Board of Directors.
we'll adjourn that meeting as well, and that's it for today. I would say happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Holidays to all.
Did I miss something?
Thank you.
Oh.
And Commissioner,
Oh, yeah, Herman's the best.
Commissioner Cook, well done, well done.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.